Have you experienced a situation where a particular person in your class always speaks the truth, or he or she insists on the right thing being done all the time? How's your reaction towards such people? Do you love them for what they do, or sometimes you hate on them? Confession time. Drop your response in the comment section. Or sometimes you call them Ikechuku because they took the class when an incident happened. Okay, yeah. So please do assessment in case you just hate them for hating sake because they insist on the right thing being done, and maybe you may be part of those who do the wrong thing. Then you might have to repent. Of course, they might have their pitfalls or shortfalls or whatever it is, but generally I think that they stand for the right cause. Sometimes you may not understand them whilst in school, but later on in life you appreciate them. That was the situation of Jesus. Jesus was preaching truth, the gospel, and most of the time the religious leaders at that time, were corrupt in one way or the other. And sometimes he preaches against their corrupt deeds. Like today, some pastors, will not preach the truth, and some will also take advantage of the less privileged and sell all kinds of things to them. And at the end of the day, if another pastor who preaches the truth preaches against them, then it becomes a problem. That's not how it's supposed to be. But Jesus in his time also faced the same challenge, so it's not surprising. Now today we are going to look at very two technical topics under the trials of Jesus. So this is the third topic. As you can see, this is C, the condemnation of Jesus. And then we have two levels of the condemnation. We have the religious and then the political trial of Jesus. So please take note of the technicalities involved. This is one of my favorites because of the technicalities involved. Now, with the religious or Jewish trial of Jesus, or better still, Jesus before the high priest or the council or Sanhedrin. So in the objective question or even essay question, when they bring any of these words, you should know that they are talking about the same thing. The religious trial of Jesus, Jewish trial of Jesus, Jesus before the high priest or the council, they can bring Sanhedrin. It's talking about the same thing. Now, the council or Sanhedrin is a group of religious leaders who see to the affairs, the religious affairs of the Israelites. So it consists of about 26 members, just like I am in Ghana, so it's just like the Christian Council of Ghana. They see to the Christian activities for at least the members who have registered. Currently, there are about 26 churches who have registered under the Christian Council. And the leader or the chairman of the Christian Council is Right Reverend Dr. Hilliard Della Dugbe. And the president of the council in Jesus' time was called Caiaphas. So Caiaphas is the chief or high priest. Let me use high priest. Caiaphas was the high priest of the council at that time. Now, you know that right from the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was taken to the courtyard of the high priest. There's a video on the Gethsemane, so you can take a look at it if you have not watched it yet. From Gethsemane straight to the Caiaphas court. Okay, so Jesus was taken there, and the council had gathered, of course, like I said, about 26 members, including the high priest. And they were trying their best. So the high priest and the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders, and the chief priests, yes, as I've mentioned already, they were trying to, get some false witnesses against Jesus so that they can base on it and put him to death. But they couldn't get none. They couldn't get any of them. Or better still, the witnesses were not agreeing, so they didn't see how they could put the person to death. But as long as two witnesses stepped forward, you can call them the two musketeers. They should come and say something. They said that Jesus says that he will destroy the temple of God and build it in 3 days. Yes, even though Jesus was talking about his body being the temple of God, and that if they should kill him, he will resurrect on the 3rd day. But they try to use it as an accusation against Jesus, that he claims that he will destroy the temple and build it in 3 days. And the Bible mentioned 2 witnesses because that is the minimum number of witnesses that you can get against a person before your testimony can hold, according to the law of Moses. So there should be 2 or more witnesses against a person before the witnessing can hold. So after they said this, that he said he will destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, Caiaphas, the high priest, so he is presiding over this particular trial or judgment. Caiaphas asked Jesus that, what have you got to say about these things that they are accusing you of? What is your answer? Or what is your defense? Just like in the court system, you'll be asked, defend what they have accused you of. But Jesus said nothing. He was silent. And once he is silent, you cannot continue with the judgment. So Caiaphas had to, beg Jesus to speak. And so he said, I adjure you, or I beseech you, or bid you to tell us plainly, tell us the truth. Are you the Christ, the Son of the living God? He was asking this because it is only based on that they can accuse him of blaspheming against God or cursing God. Because according to the law, anybody that curses God or blasphemes against God must be put to death. Now, after he asked Jesus to tell them in plain language whether he is the Messiah, the Son of the living God, and Jesus answered by saying that, you have said so. And from now onwards, or afterwards, you will see the Son of Man coming and seated at the right hand of power. So that's according to Matthew's account. At the right hand of power. Jesus used power to refer to God, because in the Jewish tradition, you don't mention the name of God in vain, as is in the 10 Commandments. So sometimes they use blessed, sometimes they use power, to represent the name of God. So in Mark and Luke's account, even the high priest also uses blessed for God. So he said that from now onwards or afterwards, you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming with the clouds. And then the high priest tore his robes and said that Jesus has uttered blasphemy. And he asked the council members, you have heard him yourself. What is your judgment? And then they all agreed that he deserves to die. So yes, Jesus saying that he is the Son of God is a blasphemy against God according to their judgment. Because as a human being, you cannot say that you are a son of God. Because if you are saying you are a son of God, it means that technically you are God. Because human beings give birth to human beings. Goats give birth to goats. And goats. Sheep to sheep. In that order. So if you are saying you are the Son of God, it means that you have the DNA of God. You have the blood of God in your system. Therefore, you cannot live among us as human beings. Therefore, you deserve to be put to death. So he was condemned to death. And there they started treating him with contempt, mocking him. They spat on him. That's the guards at the place of the chief priest. They spat on him and even slapped him or struck him. According to Mark's account, they even covered his face after slapping him, and then they asked him to prophesy. They were making fun of Jesus. Prophesy to us. Who slapped you? Look at that. But it was time for Jesus, to be betrayed. So Jesus didn't react that much. He had to go through it, as Isaiah 53 prophesies about how the Messiah was supposed to die and all. So that was it. And right after that, he was taken to the political leaders. And that takes us to the second major topic for today. So take note, all the accusations that were raised against Jesus were religious in nature. That's why I've underlined the word religious, because he said that they accused Jesus of destroying the temple and building it in 3 days. The temple of God. So that makes it religious. Anything in connection with God or a deity or a spiritual entity is religious in nature. So the accusation is religious in nature. And he was before the religious people. The high priest is the highest religious authority in the land of the Jews. So that's what makes it religious. So please take note of it. Now, even though Jesus was condemned to death by the religious leaders, they cannot just go straight ahead and say that they are going to kill Jesus. It will be against the political law. It's like in Ghana, there was a time a fetish priest killed the wife, yes, and the children as a sacrifice to the gods. And the fetish priest was arrested because you don't have any authority to kill anybody for whatever reason, whether religious or social or whatever it is. You don't have any right to kill anybody. So in the same manner also, as a religious leader or as a pastor, you cannot get up and kill somebody and say that the person has blasphemed against your religion or your God, so you have killed the person. It is not in the constitution of Ghana. After the constitution, the moment you kill somebody, you'll be taken to the law court and you'll be sentenced to death or life imprisonment. So the high priest could not just order that Jesus should be put to death, especially knowing the kind of person Jesus is, a public figure. So they had to go through the right channel. You have to send him to the political court, the civil court. And the Romans were the ones, ruling at that time. So Jesus was sent to Pilate as a governor. So Pilate is the Roman governor at that time. And when he was sent there, quickly they had to change the accusations to fit political accusation. And so, the religious leaders and the crowd, as they went to Pilate's place, they accused him of perverting the nation. He said, this man perverts the nation. It's like you are teaching them the wrong things. And what are some of the wrong things? He's saying that Jesus is forbidding people from paying tribute to Caesar. Caesar is the emperor. So if you are saying that we shouldn't pay tribute to Caesar, for instance, we shouldn't pay taxes to Caesar, then what are you saying? It means that you are rebelling against the Roman authority. And they also said that Jesus himself claims that he is a king. So you see how they put the thing? Jesus is perverting the nation and he's forbidding us from paying tribute to Caesar, and that he himself claims that he is a king. So then if you are a king, then who is Caesar? It means that you are capable of organizing treason or a coup. And this will obviously catch the attention of political leaders. In Ghana, for instance, in February 2022, there was a guy called Mark Oliver, and he tweeted. At that time, there was arguments about e-levy, and he tweeted that if Parliament should pass the e-levy, or if the e-levy should come into force under the existing government, then he himself will lead the coup d'etat. You see the thing? Such statements will definitely attract political leaders. Not somebody saying that this man has blasphemed against my God, so you go to court and say that the court should give you the order to go and kill the person because he has blasphemed against your God. The court will not hear such a case. The court will throw it out. Yes, because there is no evidence to prove your God there to come and testify. So the law deals with human beings, human matters, physical presence, evidence. So they have to change accusation quickly. So yes, the three political accusations were the fact that Jesus was perverting the nation, he was not paying, he was not allowing, he was forbidding the people from paying tribute to Caesar, and that he himself claims to be a king. So Pilate asked Jesus, are you the king of the Jews? And Jesus said, you have said so. King of the Jews. So Pilate told the people that, I don't see anything wrong with this man. In fact, in Matthew's account, which is not in the YX syllabus for this particular topic, Pilate's wife had a dream about Jesus, and she came to tell Pilate about it. That, in fact, she warned Pilate not to have anything to do with the death of Jesus, because she has suffered a lot of things in her dream. So Pilate was very careful. And interestingly, Pilate in his heart knew that they have brought Jesus to be crucified out of mere jealousy and envy. Can you imagine? Sometimes the world will see the church arguing about certain things or envying each other about certain things, and even the world will become surprised. That's what Paul was talking about in one of his letters to the Corinthian church, that dare any of you has a matter against the other, and you take it to the world to be judged. Do you not know that we shall judge angels? And yet there is no wise person among you to settle the matters within the church. There's a case between two churches that I heard some time ago. So one group broke out of the old group to form their church, and there was an agitation on the properties. The one who broke away said that they deserved to get some of the properties, including landed properties. And the already existing church said no. And the case was taken to the court for settlement. In fact, the court, the judge ordered that such a case should be settled among themselves. So the judge took it out of court, that they should settle it out of court. And they kept going back and forth for over 20 good years. So Pilate in his mind knew that this one, it is mere jealousy. That's why they have brought Jesus to him. But of course, he had to be practical. So Pilate said that he doesn't see anything wrong in the man. He has done nothing deserving of death. But the people cried out the more. The Bible says that they were more urgent, saying that this guy is perverting the nation and he's teaching the people throughout Judea, from Galilee even to this place. This place that they have mentioned is Jerusalem, because at that time they were in Jerusalem because of the Passover feast. So almost everybody was in Jerusalem. So when Pilate heard Galilee, then he asked, is he a Galilean? Is Jesus a Galilean? And if you have been following our studies, you agree with the fact that Jesus was a Galilean because Nazareth was in Galilee. And when Pilate realized that Jesus was a Galilean, he ordered that Jesus should be sent to Herod, because Herod was the king of Galilee. Under normal circumstance, this is a trial. So I was expecting that maybe Herod should be called to come to Pilate's place, because Pilate is higher than Herod. But maybe because Herod who is a king, he wanted him to also have his judgment at his own leverage. Or better still, maybe because they were not in good terms. We'll get to that later on. So Jesus was sent to Herod for trial, and Herod was happy. He was very happy to see Jesus, because he has been expecting to see a sign or a miracle done by Jesus. So Herod also questioned Jesus at length, but Jesus decided not to mind Herod at all. So Herod's guards also treated Jesus with contempt, and they mocked him. They mocked him by dressing Jesus or arraying Jesus in a gorgeous or royal apparel. They dressed him as a king. That was done in Herod's place. And Herod also decided to send Jesus back to Pilate, since he couldn't really get anything against Jesus. Jesus never spoke. So after treating him with contempt and mocking him and dressing him in a royal apparel or gorgeous apparel, they decided that Jesus should be sent back to Pilate. And Bible says that from that moment onwards, Herod and Pilate became friends. Yes, so Jesus, as a king of peace, even during his trial, brought peace between Herod and Pilate. For Bible says that before this particular trial, they were enemies. They were at enmity with each other. So from that time onwards, they became friends. So in the WASSCE, sometimes they ask this question this manner. Account for the events that led to the friendship between Herod and Pilate. And that is the political or Roman trial of Jesus. So you narrate from the top. The time Jesus was brought before Pilate, the accusations that were brought before him, the back and forth. He was sent to Herod, and Herod tried him, up to where he was sent back, and then they became friends. So that's it. So take note that also the accusations were political in nature under the Roman or political trial of Jesus. Some few subtopics under this will be, effects of false accusation, because Jesus was accused falsely. Effects of false accusation. The first one, obviously, is the fact that it leads to loss of innocent lives, like Jesus, and also it leads to bitterness in the hearts of people. And then secondly, it breaks relationships, like marriage. It breaks marriage, it breaks friendship, and then also it leads to disunity among members in the family. Yes. So these are some few points on, effects of false witnessing. Then also another one is ways in which the judiciary system can be strengthened. And you can look at the fact that the judges or the workers in the judiciary system should be paid well. And then also they should be given good conditions of service. There should also be enactment of good laws. And then also there should be representatives. There should be judicial representatives for the poor and needy in the society. So for instance, in Ghana, we have the legal aid, which is supposed to be the government kind of judiciary system to aid or help those who are in need or those who are poor and they may need the services of a lawyer. The legal aid will take care of you. Yes. Yeah. So basically, that's it. Questions on the condemnation of Jesus, both religious and then political, are in the video description. So you can take a look at them so that you see how WAEC can twist and turn the questions. This has been your teacher, your CRS teacher, Sir Kwame. Here, CRS is made simple and easy. I hope you know your religious leaders. I hope you know your pastor and all the leaders in your church. If you don't know, please find out. If you know Caiaphas, the religious leader of the Jewish religion at that time, you must know your religious leaders too. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please subscribe so that when we get new videos, turn on notifications too, so that anytime I upload new videos, you can get the notification. Thank you very much.